Magandang hapon, Malacanang Press Corps, at welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, June 21. We are joined by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, who is also the Chairman of the Maritime Council and Presidential Assistant on Maritime Concerns, Secretary Andres Centino. Good afternoon, E.S. Bersamin and Secretary Centino.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to our people. Let me start with this statement. Good day to you all. Thank you very much for joining us in today's press conference. The National Maritime Council convened today its second meeting in accordance with the mandates specified in Executive Order Number 57, Series of 2024, signed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. last March 2024. The meeting was also called in light of the recent developments in the West Philippine Sea. The executive order aims to strengthen the Philippines' maritime security and maritime domain awareness through the enhanced coordination of the National Maritime Council, the Presidential Office for Maritime Concerns, the National Maritime Center, and the National Task Force, West Philippine Sea. As President Marcos Jr. stated in his keynote address at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, we must explore all means to protect our sovereign home to the last square inch, to the last square millimeter. Against the backdrop of continuing tensions in our maritime zones, we will not yield and we will not be deterred from fulfilling this duty. The maritime challenges of the Philippines do not only concern our defense and foreign affairs institutions. They also affect different sectors such as agriculture, fisheries, environment, energy, local governance, transportation, and justice. Therefore, managing our maritime concerns requires effective cooperation among various government agencies. I hope that the National Maritime Council reflects this reality. The Council recognizes a peaceful, stable, and prosperous West Philippine Sea and South China Sea is still a distant reality. As a result of the meeting today, the Council agreed on policy recommendations for the President's consideration. Among these recommendations is the announcement of the rotation and reprovision missions to the BRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal, which shall remain routinary and will be scheduled regularly. Security challenges remain in our waters beyond the West Philippine Sea. Let us continue to anchor our policies and strategies on promoting the national interests of our maritime and archipelagic country. Maraming salamat.
We're now opening the floor for questions. Ms. Maris Umali from GMA.
Good afternoon, sirs. First of all, is the government alarmed with how China acted in the latest RORE mission?
Andy, you want to answer that?
Yes, the national leadership view these incidents with concern, and that's the reason why the National Maritime Council was convened this afternoon. This is the second instance that the National Maritime Council convened and came up with policy recommendations for the President's approval and consideration. And we will be awaiting for the guidance of the President as regards to the policy recommendations that we submitted this afternoon.
Sir, do you have any information as to the morale of the troops on BRP Sierra Madre after the incident. Is there any fear that Chinese troops will try to force Filipino soldiers out of BRP Sierra Madre? Because based on how they acted, it seems like they are capable of doing this.
The Chief of Staff visited our troops in the Western Command and have seen how the status of the morale of our troops. He was able to talk with those who were sent to conduct the mission. While the mission did not go as planned, however, we saw that the morale of our troops are high, and we even made sure that those of our soldiers were recognized and acknowledged for their actions, their behavior in handling the incident that happened last Monday.
As to the second question, sir, is there a fear that the Chinese troops will try to force the Filipino soldiers out of BRP Sierra Madre because based on how they acted in the latest RODE mission, they seem to be capable of doing that?
That is always a consideration, and we will be prepared for that.
Thank you, Maris. Next question, Julie Aurelio from Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Hello, sirs. This question may be answered by either the Executive Secretary or the Presidential Assistant. May we know how President Marcos reacted upon hearing of the news that the Chinese Coast Guard boarded the Philippine Navy vessel? How was his demeanor? Was he angry? How did he spoke about it?
Well, the President has always been composed, and immediately he asked the concerned cabinet secretaries to discuss the matter with him. And that's also the imprimatur why we had this National Maritime Council convened today.
Did he issue any preliminary instructions that the public may know?
As mentioned by the Executive Secretary and Chairman of the NMC, we just submitted the policy recommendations for his consideration.
Were there any, Executive Secretary, were there any efforts so far to reach out to China?
Well, those are matters that pertain to a proper office, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and we have yet to receive feedback from the relevant officials of the Department of Foreign Affairs. But reaching out is always a means to look at the situation, to resolve any pending issues or concerns.
Just that's lang. Is the government thinking of elevating this to a higher international body, this latest incident?
That's not yet in consideration, no? Because I think this is a matter that can easily be resolved very soon by us, and if China wants to work with us, we can work with China.
Last question from Ana Bajo from GMA Online.
Okay, Sir Centino po. Sir, does this incident, given na Sir may 7 soldiers na sugatan, may naputulan ng daliri, does this fall po sa invocation ng Mutual Defense Treaty with the U.S.?
Well, to be accurate with the status of our soldiers, there was only one who got injured. As earlier reported, there were like 7, but actually there's only one, Sergeant Facundo of the Philippine Navy. And that has not been in. Your question about the invocation of the Mutual Defense Treaty, it has not been considered in our discussions.
Yes po. Sir, ano po yung magiging difference ng policy recommendation with the current policy po when it comes to the resupply mission? Kasi parang nagkakaroon naman po tayo ng regular resupply mission sa Ayungin, di ba po? Ano po yung magiging difference?
Well, we just don't know that if the reason for this is there was no prior knowledge on the part of China that we were resupplying. They knew that we had to resupply, that we were resupplying. It's just a normal, routinary matter. So, in the best interest of all parties, I think it was a wise decision for the President to accept our recommendation to publicize the schedule for activities without giving up anything. Wala namang masama doon.
Pero sir, puro military na po yung magkoconduct ng RORE.
Hindi naman, dahil civilian talaga yung effort na yan. No? But you must realize also that the people who are there in Sierra Madre are military components. So if ever there is a rotation, no? Rotation ang tawag doon, you replace those people there. So to that extent, military yun.
Sir, last na po on my part. Does the Philippine government consider this as an armed attack po?
No. Well, you know, this was probably a misunderstanding or an accident. We are not yet ready to classify this as an armed attack. I don't know kung yung mga nakita namin is mga bolo, axe, nothing beyond that.
Thank you very much, Executive Secretary Bersamin and Secretary Santino. And that concludes our press conference this afternoon. Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.